Why you are where you are in your life right now is because of the obsessions controlling your life. Why you are right now in your life is not a result of luck, of the environment, of age, of sex, of education, of color, of height or weight, or any outside influence or any physical influence. Why you are where right now in your life is completely a result of your mental attitude and the mental activities that you do because of that attitude. I defy you to give me a situation, a physical condition, a racial condition, an environmental condition where someone has not overcome these obstacles and achieved greatness. There are few people that are born rich and few people that are born talented, but there are billions of others who have exactly the same conditions to overcome and succeed that you have. I defy you to show me one physical condition that has not been overcome to achieve greatness. Helen Keller was blind, deaf, and dumb, and became a great famous author and person, inspiration to millions. Franklin Roosevelt was crippled. Milton was blind. Beethoven was deaf. Edgar Allan Poe was a drug addict. Freud was a cocaine addict. Stalin had a deformed hand. Henry Ford was almost illiterate. Edison didn't finish high school. Mother Teresa was short, didn't speak the language, and didn't have a penny to her name. George Washington Carver was a poor black man. Martin Luther King was a poor black preacher. Madame Curie was a woman. Colonel Sanders founded Kentucky Fried Chicken at 70 years old. Almost without exception, every great person has overcome incredible obstacles of impossible conditions and duration and achieved their greatness. This was only possible for these people because they used the power of their particular circumstances and their mind, their mental power, the mental determination that they had to do something that no one thought they could do, the mental determination to succeed where no one had ever done it before, the mental power to reach new heights, to build new projects, to develop new programs, to create empires. It was their mental attitude that allowed them to become great people and to succeed. And it is the only mental attitude that will allow you to succeed or cause you to fail. It is only a mental attitude that is keeping you where you are right now. And if you're relying upon positive mental attitude, you're not a success. There is not one condition you are presently in that is a result of anything but your mental attitude towards it and your activity that is caused by that mental attitude. There is nothing stopping you from studying 12 hours a day except you not doing it. There is nothing stopping you from working 16 to 18 hours a day except your mind. There is no condition you find yourself presently in that you could not change if you used your full mental power to do something about it, and you did something about it by using the power of your mind. If you decided to attend college right now and you made it an obsession, you would find a way to attend college. You know, it might start on TV or at a night, or it might start with a correspondence course, or you might start by reading books, but you will find a way to finish your college program and get a degree because it is an obsession with you. You can do anything you want to do if you use the power of an obsession. But you must work backwards too. If you can change your present condition by using the power of obsession, and you are not, it must be because you are obsessed with staying exactly where you are right now. You might want to be a little better off, or accept a little better life, or a little less, but if you were completely dissatisfied with your present condition, you would be doing something about it. The fact that you are doing nothing to change your conditions is evidence that you are satisfied with the status quo. You are where you are because you are choosing to stay there. Napoleon Hill and W. Clement Stone list 17 attributes that are necessary to have positive mental attitude work in your life. They go on to say that one must practice these attributes daily. If you ever miss a day, then your PMA, your positive mental attitude, is in jeopardy. 17 different things you must do a day. Doesn't that seem to be a little self-defeating already? I have trouble doing 3 things in a day. Doing things that are good for me sometimes, much less 7 things that I don't enjoy and have never been proven to work. Yet Napoleon Hill and Clement Stone, in their book Think and Grow Rich, do consider these things to be not too much to ask, or in fact, they suggest that you try to do the 17 things, and if you're still not a success, it's perhaps you have not done the combinations correctly needed to emphasize one or other area. Now you have 17 things to do in 17 particular orders and do them in right combinations to be successful. Sort of sounding like winning the lottery, isn't it? But the most amazing thing is that I don't need to do any of these 17 things to have an obsession about my work, an obsession about my son, an obsession about my Jesus. I don't need to do any of these things to have an obsessive mental attitude about a beautiful woman. I can assure you, there is nothing I would not do for my son. There is nothing I would need to do or say or practice in order to wish and keep him at the top of my priorities for success. It's because I have an obsession with him. You can develop an obsession about anything that you really want in your life and start doing it and following it right now. You are where you are right now because of the obsessions that you are following right now. Positive mental attitude slogans and the subconscious. Let's talk about subconscious assimilation, which Napoleon Hill insists no other method known will allow you to keep your mind positive. Subconscious assimilation. And this is what he means. He's talking about subconscious assimilation of positive slogans repeated day and night for dozens, hundreds of years. And yet after 48 years of reading and studying books on PMA, I can't keep my mind positive for more than a few hours at a time. And you can't either. I guess I need to chant and practice and do my positive assimilations more and more. But if I'm chanting and praying and positive assimilating all day long, I won't have the time to do the actual work that I'm supposed to be doing, that the positive assimilation was enabling me to do in the first place. There simply are too many sales situations that allow for me to do constant chanting to get the sale. Here's an example of some of his positive assimilations. Every day, I'm getting better and better. If it gets 20 miles to the gallon, every day I'm getting better and better. It has power steering. Every day it gets better and better. See, I'm using the positive assimilations and my sales pitch, so I should be really able to sell that car now. Napoleon Hill says the poor are poor because they have negative mental attitudes stopping them. Now, that sounds okay. And it seems to mean that if they applied positive mental attitude to getting out of the ghetto, they could do it. But in reality, it is terrible, for it really means that they can think their way out, feel their way out, instead of working their way out. The poor do not sit around all day thinking negative thoughts. They mostly think positive thoughts. They think about having nice cars and nice clothes and being rich and having the things that they want. But that thinking does not cause them to take any actions to get up and get to work and do something about it. Only when the poor develop an obsession to get out of the ghetto will they do the work that will enable them to get out and make something happen. It is a crime. It should be a crime to tell the poor that they are poor because of their thoughts. That what they're thinking, they could get out of poverty just by thinking themselves out. that what they do all day is wish and dream about riches, but this is not good enough. I doubt very many successful people visualize money all day long and having things like the poor people do. They're thinking about their work, where the poor people are thinking about the money. It's sort of a convoluted thing there. You know, the poor people are thinking about having money, but the rich people are thinking about work, and that gives them the money. Positive mental attitude says, when you get the man right, you'll get the world right. And they say that 99 out of 100 people do not have a clear picture in their mind of what they would like to be. A vision. A vision is not positive mental attitude. A vision is obsessive mental attitude. Arnold Schwarzenegger had a clear vision of winning Mr. Universe when he was only 16 years old. Arnold operated under an obsession for bodybuilding. And he overcame incredible negative mental attitude to do it. You're constantly undergoing terrible pain when you bodybuild. It's very much a negative thing. And if you're doing bodybuilding with a positive mental attitude, you will achieve your success as a bodybuilder. There's only one thing you have absolute control over, your attitude. I hear that all the time, don't you? Prove it. Control your attitude for the next 30 years, all day long, every day. You can't get close to controlling your attitude. It is impossible, for your attitude changes daily with your feelings, with your age, with your health, with your climate, with your stimulation. You are making millions of people feel like failures if you tell them that they have complete control over their attitude when they do not. They have complete control over nothing in your mind unless you're controlling it with an obsession. You can spend years trying to control your temper, your sex drive, and fail. You cannot control your attitude unless you control it with an obsession. You can influence your attitude for a short amount of time using positive mental attitude, but you can't control it unless you control it with an obsession, because positive mental attitude relies on feelings. You prove it every day in your normal life. The only way to control your attitude is to use obsessive mental attitude. When you are driven by an obsession, you will do whatever it takes to get the job done. And you will disregard any negative attitude or even any positive attitude that gets in your way of you getting the job done. That's what it means to control your attitude using an obsession instead of relying upon feelings or a positive mental attitude. Obsessions allow you to always work your hardest to make it happen. Here's another great PMA lie. Honesty is inherent with PMA. People with positive mental attitude are just naturally honest. Oh, positive mental attitude doesn't work, and most people would do whatever it took to get $1 million. Don't kid yourself. Whether they have positive or negative mental attitude, it takes an incredible man to resist $1 million bribe. And it takes an incredible man to resist a beautiful woman, etc., etc. Only with an obsession can you get away with not being tempted all the time to be distracted for your goal. The PMA people are saying that nothing is impossible to the man who keeps trying with positive mental attitude. Nothing is impossible because the man keeps trying. That means if he keeps trying, he's not doing it because he has a positive mental attitude. He's trying because he has an obsession. Because you're not going to stay positive all the time. You keep trying with an obsession, not with PMA. I just got to get you to understand that. Feelings don't make you try nothing. Obsessions do. Positive mental attitude are thoughts without activity. The Bible says that faith without works is dead. Positive mental attitude is thoughts without activity, or thoughts that cause no work. So it's dead. If you have the faith, then you can get the vision accomplished. God gave you the power of obsessive mental attitude to assure you that you could get your job done, that you would protect your family, that you would love your wife, that you would worship Him. God gave you an obsession. It's what makes the world keep going. People are driven by obsessions to accomplish great things. Positive mental attitude doesn't want to mention the fact that you actually have to work. You have to work through the good and the bad times, through the good and the bad feelings to get the job done and to succeed. They want you to believe that if you stay positive, you'll actually enjoy digging that ditch and shoveling junk. In the real world, work hurts. It's unpleasant. Very few people have a job they just love to go to unless they're going to a job that they're obsessed with that will lead them to their goal. I'm not trying to make you a workaholic, but when you get an obsession, you will become naturally a workaholic and comfortable about doing all that is necessary for you to achieve your obsession. I'm obsessed with a son. It's not work when I play with him. I love him. Napoleon Hill and Clement Stone believe in extrasensory perception, and that medical event, a medical phenomenon that causes something to happen by thinking. ESP. And yet they're trying to tell you to think and move a pin. You can't do that any more than you can think and move a mountain. You work and move a mountain. You move your hand and move the pen. They're trying to make you a midnight millionaire, a mental millionaire. One of the biggest problems with PMA is that it is the most effective program late at night when you're tired and weak. When you're alone and you don't have any negative thoughts and influences around, then you can sort of read that book and get pumped up and go to sleep and dream, I'm going to wake up tomorrow and get after it. I'm going to be rich. You're a midnight millionaire. You read your PMA and you get all excited, then you go to sleep and you wake up the next morning and you think you're going to think and grow rich. And just like the cover on the book says, the Napoleon Hill book, read yourself into a fortune. I work out with Mark Cuban, who is worth $6 billion. He reads books to learn something that will apply to his work so he can make more money. He doesn't think it's luck. He doesn't think it's ESP. He thinks it's hard work and brains that got him this $1 billion. He's obsessed with making things the best. He's obsessed with achieving his goal. The next day after reading these PMA books and the real world hits you, bam, like a ton of bricks, and you just don't feel like doing it. But Napoleon promises, whatever you want in life, you can get it just by thinking about it. Prove it. The only power that will ever make you get up the next day and get going is the power of obsessive mental attitude. The power to persist and insist till you get what you want. Not feelings. Negative attitudes are contagious. That's really not so. In fact, they're repelling. No one wants to be near a negative person. No one wants to be near negativity. It beats them down. But with positive mental attitude, it happens the same way. If you're relying on getting things done by only the power of positive mental attitude, you're going to fail because you're going to fall short. It's only when you disregard the positive and the negative influences and use the power of your obsession that you'll be able to get going and keep going no matter what happens. Think about it, what some of you all know about children. Sometimes I'm happy, sometimes I'm sad, but I always love them. I'm obsessed with them. OMA makes you keep trying and persisting regardless of the positive and negative influences that you are getting.